Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and think about something you've been putting off. That one dream, that one goal, that one idea that excites you, but somehow you always find a reason to delay it. Maybe you tell yourself, I need to be more prepared, I need the perfect plan, or the timing isn't right. But let me tell you something, waiting for the perfect time is like waiting for a train that will never arrive. The truth is, perfection is an illusion. There is no ideal moment, no perfect conditions. The only thing that stands between you and your dreams is the action you take today, right now, in this very moment. I know stepping into the unknown is scary. It feels like jumping off a cliff without knowing if you'll land safely. But let me ask you, what if you fly? What if, instead of holding yourself back, you decide to take that leap? Every successful person you admire started before they felt ready. They embraced uncertainty, they made mistakes, they learned along the way. Think about it. When a baby learns to walk, do they wait until they're sure they won't fall? No. They take that first wobbly step and then another and another until suddenly they're running. You must do the same. Stop waiting for the stars to align. Stop overthinking. Start with what you have, where you are, with whatever resources you can find. Trust yourself. You are far more capable than you think. Every moment you hesitate, you're giving fear more power. But the moment you start, you take that power back. So today I challenge you, take that step. Start writing that book. Launch that business. Say yes to that opportunity. Start and let the journey shape you. Because the perfect time, it isn't coming. The time is now. And the world is waiting for you. Perfection is something we all chase at some point in our lives. We want the perfect job, the perfect relationship, the perfect body, the perfect moment to start something new. We convince ourselves that if we wait just a little longer, plan a little more, prepare a little better, then we'll be truly ready. But the truth is, perfection is nothing more than a myth. A beautifully crafted illusion that keeps us trapped in hesitation, in doubt, in fear of not being good enough. Think about it. How many dreams have been left unfulfilled because someone was waiting for the perfect time? How many ideas have faded away because the conditions weren't just right? The pursuit of perfection is a never-ending cycle. The pursuit of perfection is a never-ending cycle. The more we chase it, the more unreachable it becomes. Because no matter how much we prepare, no matter how much we improve, there will always be something we feel could be better. And that mindset holds us back more than any external obstacle ever could. The reality is, nothing great in life was ever created under perfect conditions. If you look at the most successful people in the world, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, innovators, you'll see one common trait. They started before they felt completely ready. They didn't wait for everything to be flawless. They took action despite the imperfections. They understood that growth comes from doing, not waiting. Perfectionism tricks us into believing that if something isn't done flawlessly, it's not worth doing at all. It convinces us that unless we have all the answers, unless we have absolute certainty, we should hold back. But what we fail to realize is that the most successful people didn't start with perfection. They started with courage. They started messy. They made mistakes. They stumbled. They failed. They learned and they grew. And that's what made them great. Think about an artist painting a masterpiece. If they waited for the perfect stroke before putting brush to canvas, the painting would never come to life. If a writer waited for the perfect sentence before writing, the book would never be written. Perfection is not the key to progress, action is. The more we do, the more we refine. The more we try, the more we improve. Our fear of imperfection is rooted in what others will think. We fear judgment, criticism, or failure, so we hold back, waiting for a time when we can present something flawless. But the truth is, people don't connect with perfection. They connect with realness, with authenticity, with effort. Some of the most inspiring stories in history are not about those who had a smooth, perfect journey, but about those who struggled, adapted, and persevered despite their imperfections. Waiting for perfection is the biggest excuse we give ourselves. It's comfortable, it's safe, it makes us feel like we're in control. But in reality, it's just another form of fear. Fear of failing, fear of not being good enough, fear of stepping into the unknown. And that fear will keep us exactly where we are, watching from the sidelines while others take chances, make moves, and create the life they want. Instead of chasing perfection, we need to embrace progress. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment, we need to take the first step, however small it may be. Because in the end, perfection isn't what leads to success. Action is. The unknown is something we are conditioned to fear. From a young age, we are taught to seek certainty, to plan our future, to stay within the boundaries of what is comfortable and predictable. We find security in routines, in knowing what comes next, in having a clear roadmap to follow. But the truth is, life doesn't come with guarantees. No matter how much we plan, no matter how much we try to control every detail, the unknown will always be a part of our journey, and instead of fearing it, we need to learn how to embrace it. Stepping into the unknown feels terrifying because it forces us to face uncertainty. It challenges everything we know, everything we are familiar with. It asks us to trust ourselves even when we don't have all the answers. And that is where true growth begins. The most successful people in the world did not have their paths laid out for them. They didn't have a foolproof plan that guaranteed success. They simply took a step forward, not knowing exactly where it would lead, but believing in their ability to figure things out along the way. The unknown is full of endless possibilities, but we often let fear convince us otherwise. We hesitate to take risks, fearing failure, rejection, or making the wrong choice. But what if, instead of thinking about everything that could go wrong, we focused on what could go right? What if we viewed the unknown not as something to be afraid of, but as an opportunity to explore, to learn, to evolve into the best version of ourselves? Every great invention, every groundbreaking discovery, every inspiring success story exists because someone dared to step into the unknown without certainty, without a perfect plan, but with the courage to try. Fear of the unknown is what keeps people stuck in unfulfilling jobs, toxic relationships, and stagnant routines. It convinces them that it's better to stay where they are, even if they are unhappy, because at least it's familiar. But staying in a comfort zone that no longer serves you is far more dangerous than taking a leap into the unknown. Growth does not happen where things are easy and predictable. It happens in moments of discomfort, in situations that force us to stretch beyond what we thought we were capable of. Think about the first time you tried something completely new. Whether it was moving to a new city, starting a new job, or even speaking in front of an audience. At first it felt intimidating, maybe even overwhelming. But once you took that step, you realized that you were stronger than you thought. You adapted, you figured things out, and in doing so, you discovered a part of yourself that you didn't know existed. That is the power of embracing the unknown. Many people spend their lives waiting for the perfect moment to take a chance. They tell themselves they'll pursue their dreams once they have more experience, once they feel more prepared, once they have a guarantee of success. But that moment never comes because certainty is an illusion. The people who succeed in life are not the ones who wait for the unknown to become clear. They are the ones who move forward despite the uncertainty, trusting that they will find their way as they go. When we embrace the unknown, we open ourselves up to new opportunities, new connections, and new experiences that we never could have imagined. We stop limiting ourselves based on what we think is possible and start expanding our horizons in ways that transform our lives. The unknown is not something to fear, it is something to welcome, because on the other side of that uncertainty lies everything we have ever wanted. Perfection is an impossible standard that keeps us from moving forward. We tell ourselves that if something isn't flawless, it isn't worth doing. We hesitate to start because we don't feel ready. We hold ourselves back from opportunities because we're afraid of making mistakes. But the truth is, perfection is a myth and progress is what truly matters. The people who achieve success are not the ones who wait until they feel completely prepared. They are the ones who take action, make mistakes, learn, and keep improving along the way. Waiting for perfection is one of the biggest obstacles to growth. It convinces us that we need to have everything figured out before we can begin. We think we need the perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect conditions. But life doesn't work that way. No matter how much we prepare, there will always be uncertainties, challenges, and things we can't control. If we keep waiting for perfection, we will never take the first step. Progress, on the other hand, is about movement. It's about starting, even when things are messy, unclear, or uncertain. The most successful people in the world did not reach their goals because they were perfect. They reached their goals because they were willing to start, even when they didn't have all the answers. They understood that progress is built on trial and error, on learning from failures, on making adjustments along the way. Every great entrepreneur, artist, athlete, or leader you admire has faced setbacks, made mistakes, and had moments of doubt. But instead of letting imperfection stop them, they kept moving forward. They focused on progress over perfection, and that's what made them successful. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't wait until they have perfect balance before taking their first step. They try, they stumble, they fall, and then they get back up and try again. Each step gets a little steadier, a little stronger. Over time, they go from crawling to walking to running. If they waited for perfection, they would never move at all. The same principle applies to anything we want to achieve in life. Growth comes from action, from doing, from learning along the way. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. It keeps people stuck in endless cycles of planning without execution. It makes them afraid to take risks because they fear failure. But failure is not the opposite of success. It is a necessary part of the journey. Every mistake, every setback, every misstep teaches us something valuable. It shows us what works, what doesn't, and how we can improve. If we focus on progress rather than perfection, we allow ourselves to experiment, to explore, to evolve into the best version of ourselves. Many people are afraid to share their work, to put themselves out there, because they don't think it's good enough. They wait until they believe it's perfect before they let the world see it. But if you look at any successful creator, whether it's a writer, an artist, a musician, or an entrepreneur, you'll see that their first attempts were far from perfect. The only reason they got better was because they kept going. They released imperfect work, learned from feedback, refined their craft, and improved with time. The key to growth is not getting everything right from the start. It's being willing to start despite the imperfections. Progress means taking action, learning, and making improvements along the way. It means being okay with mistakes because every mistake is a lesson that brings us closer to mastery. If we stop chasing perfection and start embracing progress, we free ourselves from hesitation, self-doubt, and fear. We give ourselves permission to move forward, to learn, and to achieve things we once thought were impossible. Fear is something we all experience, and for most of us, it feels like a barrier. It's that voice in our heads that tells us we're not ready, that we might fail, that we don't have what it takes. It's what stops people from chasing their dreams, from taking risks, from stepping into the unknown. But the truth is, fear isn't meant to stop us. It's meant to push us forward. Fear is not a signal to retreat. It's a sign that we are about to grow. Every time we try something new, fear is present. It shows up when we step outside of our comfort zones, when we go after something we truly want, when we take a risk without knowing the outcome. And that's because growth requires uncertainty. If we always stayed where we felt safe, we would never evolve, never achieve anything greater than what we already have. Fear and growth go hand in hand. The bigger the dream, the stronger the fear, because the stakes feel higher. But that fear is proof that we're on the right path. Think about the most successful people in the world, whether they are entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, or leaders. Do you think they reached their level of success without fear? Absolutely not. They felt fear just like anyone else, but the difference is that they didn't let it stop them. They moved forward anyway, knowing that the only way to overcome fear is to face it. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it. Many people wait until they feel ready before they take action, believing that one day the fear will disappear. But that day never comes. If you wait for the fear to go away before you start, you will be waiting forever. Fear is part of the process. It doesn't leave before you take action. It leaves because you take action. The more you step into fear, the more you prove to yourself that you're capable, that you can handle the challenge, that you're stronger than you thought. Fear often disguises itself as overthinking, procrastination, or self-doubt. We tell ourselves we need more time, more preparation, more experience, but underneath all of that is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making the wrong choice. And while those fears feel real, they are only illusions designed to keep us stuck. The truth is, failure is not the enemy. The only real failure is never trying at all. Every mistake, every setback, every moment of doubt is part of the learning process. Think about the first time you learned to ride a bike. You were probably scared. You knew you could fall, and you probably did, but you kept going. You didn't let the fear of falling stop you from learning. You got back up, tried again, and before you knew it, you were riding with confidence. The same principle applies to everything in life. The first time you speak in front of an audience, you will feel fear. The first time you start a new job, launch a business, or pursue a big goal, you will feel fear. But that fear means you are growing, stretching, becoming more than you were before. Fear forces us to face our limits and push past them. It teaches us resilience, adaptability, and strength. It is not something to avoid, but something to embrace, because on the other side of fear is the life you've always wanted. The only way to reach it is to stop waiting for fear to disappear and start moving forward in spite of it. We often convince ourselves that we are not ready. We tell ourselves we need more experience, more knowledge, more preparation before we can take that leap, chase that dream, or step into the next phase of our lives. We believe that someday we will finally feel ready, and when that moment arrives, we will move forward with confidence. But the truth is that moment will never come on its own. The idea of readiness is often an illusion we create to avoid stepping outside our comfort zone. The reality is you are ready now, exactly as you are. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Do you think they felt ready when they started? Most of them didn't. They weren't experts when they took their first step. They didn't have every detail figured out. They just started. They learned along the way, made mistakes, adjusted, and kept moving forward. Readiness doesn't come before action. It is built through action. The more you do, the more confident you become. The more you challenge yourself, the more prepared you feel. But if you keep waiting for the moment when you feel completely ready, you will never begin. We underestimate what we are capable of because we focus too much on what we lack. We see all the things we don't know yet, all the skills we haven't mastered, all the possible ways we could fail. But what we fail to recognize is that we already have everything we need to take the first step. Our experiences, our resilience, our ability to learn and adapt. These are all we need to start. We don't need to be perfect. We just need to be willing. Fear is one of the biggest reasons people believe they are not ready. The fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of stepping into the unknown. These emotions convince us that we need to wait until we feel more confident, more skilled, more certain. But confidence doesn't appear out of nowhere. It is built by doing, by trying, by proving to yourself that you are capable. The only way to become ready is to start before you feel ready. Think about all the things you've already accomplished in your life. There was a time when those things felt impossible, when you questioned whether you could do them. But you did, and now, looking back, you realize that you were capable all along. The same is true for whatever goal or dream you are holding yourself back from right now. The only difference between where you are and where you want to be is the decision to begin. Opportunities do not wait for the perfect moment. They come when you least expect them, and if you hesitate, they pass you by. The people who succeed in life are not necessarily the most prepared or the most experienced. They are the ones who take action despite their doubts. They say yes, even when they are unsure. They figure things out as they go. They trust that they will learn what they need along the way. And because they take that first step, they gain experience, knowledge, and confidence that they would never have had if they had waited. The truth is, no one feels completely ready at the beginning. Everyone starts somewhere, and no one has it all figured out from the start. The only difference between those who move forward and those who stay stuck is the belief that they are ready now, even if they don't have all the answers. The moment you stop waiting for some imaginary perfect time and start trusting yourself is the moment you begin to create the life you truly want.